Hi, grade 11. Today we will start our revision about curriculum, quarter 4, curriculum of quarter 4. Okay, let's start with the first topic, testing of ions. Okay, are the substances that are begin with the hydrogen positive ions and change litmus paper into red acids. Okay, we know that the chemical compound classified into 4 types: acids, bases, oxides, and salts. Okay, so the chemical compound, let's start with the hydrogen positive ion, okay, known as acids. Okay, while number 2, the substances that end with the hydroxide negative ions and they change litmus paper into blue, known as bases. Number 3, from example of basic oxide, we know that some metal oxide, known as basic oxide because they can dissolve in water, give alkaline solution. Okay, and also some of non-metal oxides can dissolve in water, form acidic solution. Okay, so from the basic oxide, iron oxide. Number 4, the chemical compound that neither begin with hydrogen positive ions nor end with the hydroxide negative ions are known as salts. The basic radical of the salt is known as cation. Okay, listen to me. The salt consists of 2 radicals. Okay, the first radical known as cation, and it's represent the basic radical or the positive ion of the salt, while the second radical that written second, okay, known as anion, and it's referred to the acidic radical, and it's represent negative ions of the salt. Okay, so question number 6, the acidic radical known as anion. All chlorides salt are soluble in water except silver chloride and lead chloride from the chloride salt that not dissolve in water. Okay, all sulfate salt are soluble in water except lead sulfate. All carbonate salt are insoluble in water except sodium carbonate. To detect nitrate anion, okay, in this lesson also we talked about how to detect different anions and the different cations, and also talked about the flame test. To detect nitrate anion, we added a few drops of aqueous sodium hydroxide, then aluminium foil, and warm gently. And after this reaction, ammonia is produced which characterized by its pungent smell. Then we added dilute acid number 11 to carbonate salt. Carbon dioxide gas is produced. Okay, 12, to test sulfate anion, firstly acidified the salt, then added barium chloride, where the barium chloride, okay, can substitute the sulfate salt, okay, and form a barium sulfate that can dissolve in water and form white precipitate. To test the evolved carbon dioxide gas, we use clear lime water because carbon dioxide can change clear lime water into turbid. To test the evolved hydrogen gas, we immerse or insert burning splint in a test tube that contain hydrogen gas. Okay, it burn and gives boop sound. 15, when we dump litmus paper into chlorine gas, what happened to the litmus paper? It bleaches, turn it white. 16, when we added drops of Berber potassium permanganate to sulfur dioxide gas, the Berber color changes into colorless. When we added a few drops of sodium hydroxide to the salt that contain copper cation, it gives light blue. And when we added a few drops of sodium hydroxide to ammonium cations, it gives no precipitate. Number 19, chromium cation with a sodium hydroxide reagent gives green precipitate that's soluble in the excess of aqueous sodium hydroxide. Also, when we added chromium cation to ammonium hydroxide, gives gray-green precipitate that insoluble in excess of aqueous ammonium hydroxide. Number 21, lithium cation produce red crimson flame by using flame test. Sodium cation produce yellow flame with a flame test. In case of calcium, we get orange red with a flame test. The copper ion produce blue-green with a flame test. In case of potassium, we get lilac with a flame test. Okay. Question 2, explain why. Okay, or write the reason. We have some problems in the result of the flame test because the color of the flame test can be difficult to distinguish, okay? And this is occurred especially with a low concentration of the metal in the compound. Question 2. We can differentiate between calcium positive ion or calcium cation and aluminium cation by adding more aqueous sodium hydroxide. Both of them, by adding sodium hydroxide formed white precipitate, and to differentiate between them, we added more drops of aqueous sodium hydroxide. In case of calcium, nothing happened to the precipitate, but in case of aluminium, the precipitate disappear and become colorless. After adding aqueous sodium hydroxide to ammonium cation, then heating gently, we get a pungent smell. This is occurred due to the formation of ammonia gas. 4. We use clear lime water to test the carbon dioxide gas, okay, because carbon dioxide gas can change clear lime water into turbid. We use a glowing splint to test the oxygen because oxygen gas helps in burning, so the glowing splint will relight. We use burning splint to test the hydrogen gas because hydrogen gas gives the pop sound after inserting burning splint in test tube that contain hydrogen. We dump litmus paper into ammonia gas to test it because ammonia gas changed red litmus paper into blue. And in testing halide, we added dilute nitric acid to remove the impurities, okay, and get rid of carbonate and sulfate anions. Question 3, true or false? Sodium nitrate and ferric chloride are from insoluble salt. False, from soluble salt. Number 2, silver chloride and barium sulfate are from soluble salt in water. False, from insoluble. 3, acidic radical of the salt known as anion. True. To test the carbonate atomic group, we added dilute acid. True. Yes, because carbonate can react with the dilute acid, form carbon dioxide gas, form effervescence. Okay. To test the sulfate atomic group, we just only acidified the salt. Okay. False. We acidified the salt, then added barium chloride. Number 6. We added dilute hydrochloric acid to test the sulfite, okay, atomic group, then warm it gently. True. Okay. The color of the flame test can be used to work out the metal ion that present in the salt. True statement. And we use aqueous sodium hydroxide and aqueous ammonium hydroxide to test different anions. False. To test different cations. Number 9. When we added a few drops of ammonium hydroxide to calcium, it gives a green precipitate. False, it gives white precipitate. And when we added drops of ammonium hydroxide to zinc positive ion, it gives white precipitate that's soluble in excess of ammonium hydroxide, forming a colorless solution. True statement. Okay? Thank you. Grade 11. And